Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Let me know if I'm audible in the comments. Okay, that is great. So we'll just begin with the session. So again, good evening everyone. I'm Kanishka Agarwal, GDSC lead and Flutter facilitator at Bharatiya Vidyapeeth College of Engineering, New Delhi, and we are having our first session on Flutter in collaboration with Singat Institute of Technology and Science, Pune, and we have Vinay from the same as the Flutter facilitator. So I'll just have the speaker with us in a second. So today we have Miss Debasmita Sarkar. She's working as SDE2 in Unicards. She has over 6 years of experience, mostly on front end development, and she has developed and shipped more than 8 applications in Flutter. She is very passionate about giving tech talks and has given tech talks in various events, including DevFest 21 and Google I/O Extended. In her free time, she creates content to help the community. So we'll be welcoming.
Hi, hello everyone. Can you guys hear me? I think you can, I guess. Okay, so Kanishka actually has said a lot of things about me. So I'm Devoshmita Sarkar, and I'll be having a session with you on Flutter, like what's Flutter and what is the buzz about it, right? Like before I start, can you all tell me who has actually heard the word Flutter? You can just write your comments on the comment section. Nice. I can see one person. Okay. So cool. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay, cool. I think you can see my screen, right? So I think some of you have heard about Flutter, and some of you even don't know what is Flutter. So we'll all go through what is Flutter and what is the buzz about it, and how do we start on Flutter, right? So can you see these applications? And so these are the applications that's actually done with Flutter. And the most thing that is there is basically these applications are open on different platforms, right? So if you see this one, this is a car application. This one is mobile app. This is web. Some of these are working in any of the desktop, right? In Mac or Windows. So all of this is possible with a single framework, which is Flutter. So isn't that exciting? Okay. I think also I want this session to be a little interactive, so I'll be keep moving from sharing my screen to see what you are actually telling in the comments, if you are answering something. Okay. Do you all use Google Pay? Like, you guys use Google Pay, right? All of us use Google Pay. Do you know Google Pay actually is built using Flutter? Isn't that exciting? Application which was there earlier, built with the native technologies, right now has shifted to Flutter, and it's really performant. One of the app I think you must have heard is Dream 11. So Dream 11 is one of the app which is also built in Flutter, right? So I think now you are a little bit excited about Flutter, and see how you can build this type of amazing applications, right? So let's get started. I'll be sharing my screen again. So these are the companies that are using Flutter. First one that I was talking about was Google Pay. Dream 11 is there. There are a lot of companies. BMW is also using Flutter in their car application. So if you are a little bit excited about Flutter, we can just see what Flutter is, right? So Flutter is a framework which helps you to create this amazing applications. And with this single framework, it's possible to create in different devices or different platforms, right? So you can create applications in Windows, which will run in Windows, any of your Mac system, or in website as a website, or in Android or iOS, right? So this is possible with a single framework, which is Flutter. Now Flutter, with Flutter you have to write code in a language which is Dart, right? So you can write in Dart, and you can compile that application, and that can run in different platforms. So let's say, like, if I say different platforms, like the first question I think would be arising in your mind is, let's say I have created one application in Android, right? So it's supposed to run on Android. Does the same code base be working in website? How will that work? Is there any more setup that has to be done? So to run your Flutter application in different devices, you don't have to do like nothing as a as a platform dependent setups, right? So you just write the code base. Now you can just compile that app, and that can be running as a website, or maybe iOS, or in Android, or in any other platforms. You don't have to do a single thing. So the advantages of Flutter, if I say, so let's say, how do you you have probably be using lots of applications on your mobile, right? So now most of those applications are either built in Android native language, or iOS native language, which is Swift. Or maybe those are built in cross-platform applications. So I'll tell a little bit about these, how these work, right? So to the first thing that you have to know is, let's say, the native application, right? So Android is a OS, and that understands, so if you want to write some applications which works in Android, you have to write those in either Java or Kotlin, right? So to create application which is compatible over both of these devices, you have to know these languages. So let's say I want a application like Dream 11, let's say. So first thing that I have to keep in mind is, I have to learn Kotlin or Java for Android, and then I have to learn Swift to make that app run in iOS, right? So here comes the difference, where it's different from native. The cross platform is different from native. Is, let's say, in cross platform you have to learn only one language, right? So in Flutter you have to learn Dart. So once you learn this language, and once you know how to write code in Flutter, you will be creating a single code base, and that single code base will work in every devices that you have. So this is one of the advantage of Flutter. So one framework can be is there for all the devices. Now you must be thinking that when you are creating a native app which is working in, let's say, like I have written an app in Java, and that's basically working fine in Android, right? And you must be thinking, okay, so the performance must be gone when we are creating any application in Flutter or any of the cross platform devices, right? But that's wrong. So the performance of any of the Flutter app is as same as the native application that you'd be writing in native languages. Also, your apps would be pixel perfect. That means, let's say you have a design, your designer has given you a design, and in Flutter you can create whatever design your designer gives, and you can create that pixel perfect design in Flutter. Also, if you think about from a company's perspective, let's say, to use some native language, the problem arises when they have to sort of maintain two teams, right? For one team for Android, one team for iOS, right? So that like when they're giving them a feature to release, these teams would be working in those features, and these two features would go hand in hand. So that means that you have to maintain these two teams over all the releases. And or if there is any issue or bug, then you have to fix in both of these devices. Let's say you need a quick design change. Nowadays we can see that the design actually changes day by day, depending on the users perspective, or maybe what the users are demanding. So at that time, let's say you have two different teams, that means have to do twice the effort to make that feature done, right? So in Flutter, since you have a single code base, you have to maintain one team only, which that team can do all the work. And if you need a quick change in your design or any of the features, you can just quickly do it in one team and you can just release it. So that's kind of a you have to you don't have to maintain two or three different code bases. That means you have to write less code, and that in companies from companies perspective, it's actually more productive. To talk about how to learn Flutter, let's say, I think most of you are familiar with Java or C++. And if you are doing web development, then you must be familiar with JavaScript, right? So I actually come from a web development background, right? So I used to know JavaScript, and when I started Flutter, it was really easy from JavaScript to Dart. I probably learned in a week how to write code in Dart. So these are some advantages of Flutter. So if you have any question till now, you just can let me know. I'll be so you guys are good, right? I guess. Cool. So let's go over to the roadmap, right? How what should I do to learn Flutter? So if you are a little bit excited about Flutter and you want to try it out, first thing that you have to do is you have to know a little bit of Dart. So since Dart is the language behind Flutter, a little bit of Dart is required at the start so that you understand the code base and you understand how to write Flutter, right? So I think a week of effort in Dart is good, where you can just learn how to write variables, the simple things, how to write array, how to filter those, little bit of how to the for loops and the if else statements all are same. Just the syntax you have to know a little bit. So a week effort in Dart is good. Then you can quickly switch to you can install Flutter in your machine, and you can try out the example application. It is actually quite good. You can just quickly take any of the GitHub code and try to run in your device. So to run in your device, I think you need Android Studio if you are you're having Windows. And if you're having a Mac, then definitely you can run in iOS simulator also, right? So these are the I think the first week's effort you have to do. Then to move forward, I think the first thing would be to do the simple things. Let's say how to create a list in Flutter. You can see the Facebook feeds, right? So some of the create a little bit of a box with you can see those like buttons, the photo, how to put the photos in that feed. All this stuff you can do quickly, and you can try out a little bit of design. So that would be your, I think, the second and third week. If you want to create a little bit of learn a little bit more on the UI, then second and third week I think would be to learn those. Here actually the second thing would be you would be a little bit familiar with Dart also, since you are writing code. So and building UI is the best thing because you can see the quick results. You would be seeing some of the stuff, and those are working on your like physical device or maybe the emulators. That's actually pretty exciting. So it'd be like very much like eager to learn more. So to build app, you need APIs, right? You need data. So I think after you have done some work on UI, you need to learn. The next thing would be to learn how to do API calls to get the data, so that your app is more reactive, and you can just take the data, show it a little bit so that it's dynamic. So the third, like end of the third week or fourth week, you would be doing learning the API calls, how to connect with backend, all this stuff you can do. Next thing would be to learn state management. So if you don't know about mobile development, or you don't know at all about Flutter, then it's little difficult, not that much. So state management, I'd explain a little bit about it. So let's say when you're using an application, right? So there you see the user's data, like the username or maybe mobile number, the email ID, all those are there. When you see on the profile page, maybe somewhere in your app, like at the top corner or somewhere. So these data are persisting across all the pages of your app, right? So to maintain these data, you need state management. To another example would be, let's say when you are adding something on the cart in Amazon or in any other e-commerce applications, right? You see whenever you are adding that, in the cart page all those data is there, and you can just quickly add more data, add more like products, or really or remove those products. And from the homepage also you can see that you have added these products, right? So this is also an example of state management. So you have to learn this. So the state management, learning about state management would take a little bit of time. In terms of let's say there are a lot of state management in Flutter. So I think 1 week of effort, 1 or 2 week of effort would be needed here. The first thing that you can start with state management is, so there is a state called set state, which is pretty common. And the next thing would be provider. Then you can go a little bit deeper with block or river pod. All those you can try. So after that, here the next step would be to connect with database, right? So whatever data you are sending to your backend, you can do all this with Firebase also. And maybe you can also sometimes your app also needs to store some sort of data to kind of show the offline. Let's say your network is not there, so the offline data needs to be there. So you can learn this thing, and this would not take much time. So I'd say like 2 3 days effort is there. So if you start from here, and if you are till here, so mostly like 60 70% of Flutter you have already learned. And this can be done mostly around let's say a month or so. You would be able to kind of grab all these things. Next thing would be to do the like to know about the native APIs. So what do I mean by native APIs are, so basically let's say you the app is not only to show the data, right? So you have to able to kind of connect to a map. You have to show the map somewhere. Maybe you are doing creating a like photo taking application, maybe gallery app, where you can just quickly open the camera. So all this stuff happens with native API. So you have to know a little bit about those. So the next thing that you can do is to learn about native APIs. Then this actually is an ongoing process. This would be an ongoing process over the like let's say, like, for now, if you want to create a example app, you are using just maps. Let's say after you have learned everything, then like in your um, company or somewhere, you need to use camera, or maybe the battery percentage or anything, then you'd be learning a little bit about those. So this is the ongoing procedure, right? The next thing would be to kind of right now, till here you have created, like, the app is structured, like, whatever you have thought, you have structured like that, right? But in real world, your app has to be like structured in a very good way. So it's very easy to create an app for 30 people, but for like 300,000 people or more than that, it's a little difficult, right? So then you have to think about performance, how you are interacting with the back end, and your app also has to be structured in a very good way. So this is the next step that you have to learn. This is also an ongoing procedure, so you won't be able to like learn this in a week or 2 week, but yeah, definitely you will be able to get an idea how should we you do this. So once you have done till here, your app development learning is mostly done. The next thing would be definitely to how to learn about testing. So this is the next thing that you need to do, because unit testing is a very important thing. So yeah, this and the last thing would be this. Actually, you need to use this mostly if you are working in a company. These are needed. So the analytics of the app, CI/CD. By CI/CD, I means continuous like development. So basically, you need to learn a little bit about this. And if you have done all that, then also your learning procedure is a little bit completed. But then you have to learn on the job also. You can, if you have done all of this, then you can try for an internship, or maybe you can try creating your pet projects, where maybe you get an idea, you think how to how to do that, and you can just create an app for it. So this should be your Flutter roadmap, in sort of like, I have not divided in small parts. So let's say, like, doing state management, this has probably 3 4 steps, so I have not done that. Mostly these would be your steps to do. Also, where to learn from, right? So you can like, the Flutter website is a very good learning source. So their documentation is very good. So first thing, that if you want to try Flutter, first thing you need to do is to go over to flutter.dev and try out some examples, and check the documentation if you like it, right? The next thing would be to go over to the code labs. These are very well, I would say, documented, and it is also there for the beginners, intermediate people, or maybe the advanced, who want to learn the advanced concepts. So you can go over to Flutter code labs. These are done by maybe the Google team, and also the Flutter community members. So these are very good resources to learn from. Next thing would be Medium blogs. So let's say Medium blogs are needed when you have learned a concept, but you don't know a little part of it, or maybe you are stuck somewhere. Then you can go over there and learn a little bit about the behind the scene, what is happening. So you can learn from the Medium blogs. There are a lot of Medium blogs, and there is also a Flutter community Medium channel, where you can go over there and read the stuff. Next thing is the Flutter YouTube channel. There are lots of cool videos with nice animations. You'd love it. So this is one of my best thing that I actually learned from the Flutter YouTube channel. Then there are community members, right? So Flutter community is actually pretty huge. So in earlier days, probably around 2018 or 19, they have started. At that time, community was not that strong, but right now Flutter community is pretty strong. and you can get lot of YouTube channels having tons of content, and you'd be able to find like if you want a course from A to Z, you can have that. If you want a particular concept, that's also is there. So this is also like sort of very helpful. Then if these all were free right till now, so now if you are if you still don't understand, or if you need a very particular way from, like, let's say a very detailed roadmap, then you can go over to Udemy and you can find lots of courses, so you can learn from those. So I hope that you can learn something. So I'll be knowing, like, I can just go over here. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you guys can let me know if you have any question. Then I'll be answering those, and then we can move forward to the next part.
We have a few questions. I'll be putting those on the screen so that you can have a look.
Sure, sure. Why did Google Pay shift to Flutter? So you can actually check this out in YouTube. There is a story, a well documented video where you can see why Google Pay shift to Flutter, but I'll give you a little bit just of it. So by shifting to Flutter, the productivity has increased a lot of lot more percent, like almost I think it was 70%. And also the reasons I have mentioned, right? Nowadays, who wants to maintain two different or three different code bases or three different teams to do a single thing? So that's the one thing. And also, if you see, Google Pay is a very huge app, right? So, and also it deals with all the financial stuff. So I have, like, in my career, I have worked with three companies where they are doing like all the financial stuff in Flutter, right? So the main thing is, if you can do it in an easier way, why to go in that hard path, right? So that's why I think Google Pay has shifted to Flutter. Yeah. What is the future? Okay. So if right now, if it was a 2018 or 19, I would have said that just believe in Flutter and try to learn those if you love app development or mobile development, because around that time I started. Around that time there was very less jobs. There were not much companies which were adopting Flutter, but there were few startups being the the reasons why startups started doing Flutter was, first thing is they have less budget, right? In like big companies, they don't have a lot of budget. Also, they needed to create their applications very quickly. It has to be dynamic. So at that time, this was happening. All the startups started using Flutter. Then big companies are started have started using Flutter. So right now, if you see, I was looking out like a few days ago, I was starting like looking out the job opportunities Flutter has. So there are a lot of jobs right now all over the world. Even in India, there are a lot of companies, not only startups, are using Flutter. So probably I have checked out Tech Mahindra, who were hiring Flutter developers. You must have heard about Ola, right? Ola is also was also hiring for Flutter. You know about Cred. All these like big companies have started using Flutter. So if you want to go in this direction in mobile development, and also you have to remember that you are just not becoming a Flutter developer, you are becoming a mobile app developer. So with Flutter, you have to know a little bit about mobile, how the OS is working, how these about the domain itself. So yeah, I think future of Flutter is actually pretty good. Okay, so do Flutter provide backend support also? Right now, there is no backend support. Yeah, like front view parts like JS. Okay, so JS actually supports backend, no? So Node.js is there, which is like pretty much all most of the companies are using Node.js for backend development. But like over to Flutter, right now it's just for mobile app development or website development, all like all the front end stuff, not much on backend. But to have the backend support, let's you can quickly learn Firebase if you don't know any other backend technologies. You can also learn you can learn GraphQL, and you can use make use of these. So I think that answers your question. Okay, let me go over to my slide again. So the popularity of Flutter, right? So right now, there are. I have not shared my screen. Really sorry. So you can see this, I guess. Cool. So right now there are like 137 GitHub stars for Flutter, GitHub repo. Earlier, so if I compare with competitor, I would say for React Native is a very good technology also to in comparison to Flutter. So React Native actually started pretty early. Flutter started a little late. So the community of React Native was strong, and like right now itself, it's there are a lot of developers using Flutter, using React Native till now. But in recent years, right, just like I was talking about, right, so in recent years Flutter actually has crossed React Native in popularity. So if you see the GitHub stars, Flutter have more GitHub stars. The like all over, like if you see the developers, more than if you see the all the cross platform development, Flutter is like more than 42% in 2021. So this actually talks about Flutter's popularity, and having like a lot of companies using Flutter, right? So day by day, the popularity of Flutter is growing, and it is actually creating a lot of job opportunities. So I want to actually go over to the Q&A first. If you have more question, otherwise we can go over to demo and just end this talk. Kanishka, do you have can you see any more question? If you have, otherwise like I can go over to the demo.
There are no more questions. We can move forward. Okay, we have one.
Okay. Do companies like Facebook, Google use Flutter? So Facebook doesn't use Flutter because Facebook, React Native technology that I was talking about, right? It's by Facebook. So for this reason, I think Facebook does not use Flutter. But yeah, Google uses Flutter. The example was like Google Pay application. It was a pretty huge application, and actually that brought a lot of confidence in Flutter in a lot of people. So yeah, you know about ByteDance, the company who is must have know about, like you know about TikTok, right? So the parent company is ByteDance, and ByteDance actually uses Flutter. So in terms when the big companies in this global level started using Flutter, it actually the popularity grew. So yeah, I think if we don't have more question, we can go over to the demo. So I'll be showing you a little demo. This thing is. Created in Flutter, and just read this once. So this demo shows the capabilities of Flutter in web. So the technology is Flutter, the framework is Flutter, code is written in Flutter, but it is a web, like Flutter web. So this is not a video. If you see, a lot of people talks about cross-platform development, and they actually tell that the performance is not good. So this is this is for that. In web also, you'll be seeing a lot of visual effects and stuff. So let me share my screen. Yeah. So this is the website. You can also check it out, flutterplasma.dev. So I'll be playing the demo. This is not a video, right? This is written in code, and you can check out the source code also. Cool. So that was built in Flutter. So yeah, so I'm like done with the talk. So if you can, like, if you really find this useful, or if you think that like the talk was great or anything, or maybe if you can like connect with me asking questions, or if you have any doubt, just you can just connect with me in these channels. So yeah. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Kanishka, for actually arranging this event. And I really had a very good time talking about Flutter.
Thank you so much for this wonderful session. We loved having you. If it's possible, we have a few questions if you can
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
those,
sure, sure. Why
please.
not?
Okay, that's great.
Using Flutter for smart words, yes, you can do this. You just try it out, you can do this. By popularity, do you mean the companies, more companies with Flutter than React Native? I believe that React Native has like actually started going in the market pretty early. So I won't say that a lot of like more companies are using Flutter than React Native. But yeah, definitely we are there. But the people right now is loving Flutter. So that's why the developer that are using Flutter is more than percentage of React Native. If one wants to be an Android dev as of today, looking at all pros and cons, which will you suggest starting with Kotlin or Flutter? If you want to be really an Android developer, I would say like just Android developer. I think like you should be a mobile app developer more than an Android developer. If you really want to do that, I think learn both Kotlin or Flutter. Anyway, if you want to learn Flutter, right, then also you need a little bit of Android knowledge. At least you have to know how the native APIs and everything behind the scene is working. So yeah, and depends on you and what kind of, let's say, your ultimate goal is to kind of get the freelancing stuff, maybe some jobs or internship. Depending on you, if you want to go over this path, you can learn. If you like Android, then you can learn Android development. But then the catch is, if you only learn Android, you won't be able to create iOS apps. So will you suggest Flutter over Kotlin? I would. Okay, so if it's me, I would definitely suggest Flutter over Kotlin, because a simple thing would be, let's say I want to I want to create my profile, right? Let's say a resume. So what I have to do, like right now, the presentation of resumes are really changed. So people want to see your work more than just a page with some words, right? So for that, let's say I can create a website in Flutter. I can show them some work, let's say some apps over to Play Store and App Store. even then I can say, okay, this is my resume. It I can host that resume, and I can say, okay, go over to the website and see these are the things I have done in Flutter, and this website is also done in Flutter. So if for me, I definitely suggest to learn Flutter over Kotlin. A person can learn the skill in 6 months and become a professional. Do you need to waste 4 years on graduation? Okay. Um, so you can learn this in 6 months, right? And also be a professional. That's true. That's actually true. But would you be able to learn how OS works? Would you be able to learn the algorithms that are working behind it, the data structures, all this type, how things work behind the scene? There are a lot of stuff happening, right? So at some point, you can just learn this and create some app. You'll be able to learn this in 6 months and create some applications also without this knowledge. But let's say when your app is not performing, you need to know where this is going wrong, right? You need to know about the threads that are working, the processors that are working behind the scene. So for that, you need those 4 years. This I think I have answered, right? Cool. I guess we don't have any more question, right?
I don't think so. So I just want to thank you again for this awesome session and clearing out so many doubts. It was really great having you and getting to know about Flutter.
Thanks. I actually have a, like, when I talk about Flutter, it's actually good. So yeah, I hope many of you have find this session like good, and you would be able to start with Flutter and try it out. Yeah, I hope that.
So I think we can end the session now.
Sure, sure. Cool.
Thank you
Thanks
so much.
everyone for joining. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you everyone for joining. We'll be back with more sessions on Flutter. Meanwhile, you can participate in our other events and thank you so much. Also, I have an announcement for the people who have attended this session. If you want to receive the certificate, you have to fill the feedback form so that we can have details, your details, and then we can send the certificates. Also, we'll be reaching out to the most active participants on the basis of your interaction and it totally depends whether and if you have filled the feedback form. So do fill the form and have a great day ahead. So, thank you.